Welcome to your Health Facts podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about hair loss.
Yeah.
A lot of people worry about it. A lot of people are looking for solutions.
hmm
And we have you here to kind of guide us through the often confusing and complicated world of hair health.
Right.
So maybe we can start with what are some of the things people may not realize about hair loss?
Well, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that it's all about genetics.
Okay.
While genes definitely play a role, your lifestyle choices, especially your diet, can have a huge impact on the health and vibrancy of your hair.
Really?
Yeah,
So, like, what I eat can actually affect how much hair I lose or how much hair I grow.
absolutely. Think of it this way. The food we eat provides the building blocks for hair growth.
Right.
And if you're constantly bombarding your body with junk food, excess meat, and saturated fats, it can lead to inflammation.
Mhm.
And inflammation can actually compromise blood flow, which is essential for healthy hair growth.
So you're saying the blood flow is really important for hair growth.
Oh, absolutely. Just like your heart and brain, your hair follicles need optimal blood flow to receive vital nutrients and oxygen.
Okay.
And when that flow is restricted, the body kind of goes into survival mode and prioritizes vital organs.
Oh, I see.
And unfortunately, that often means diverting resources away from the skin and hair, which can contribute to hair loss.
That's fascinating.
And, this whole concept of blood flow is actually what underpins the mechanism of a popular hair loss medication, minoxidil.
Minoxidil.
Yeah, you probably know it as Rogaine.
Rogaine.
It works by dilating blood vessels, improving circulation to the scalp.
Oh, so it basically helps get more blood flow to the hair follicles?
Exactly. But it's not without its potential side effects. Some people experience unwanted hair growth in other areas, dizziness, headaches, even leg swelling.
Wow.
There's also gynecomastia, which is enlarged breast tissue in men.
Oh, wow.
And some people even report decreased libido. So, it's not a magic bullet.
Right. It sounds like there can be some pretty serious downsides.
Yeah. That's why I often advocate for a more holistic approach, prioritizing a healthy diet to address hair loss from the inside out.
So basically what you're saying is that what you eat can be just as important, if not more important, than using medications for hair loss.
Absolutely. It's all about creating a healthy environment for your hair to thrive.
That's fascinating.
Oh.
So what types of foods should we be eating to support healthy hair growth?
Well, a plant-based diet rich in phytoestrogens can be particularly beneficial, especially for women going through menopause.
Phytoestrogens.
Yeah, they're compounds found in plant foods that can mimic the effects of estrogen in the body. You can find them in things like soy products. And they've shown some promise in mitigating the effects of DHT, which is a hormone that contributes to hair loss.
DHT.
Dihydrotestosterone.
Okay.
It's a powerful androgen that can shrink hair follicles.
Right.
So by incorporating phytoestrogens into your diet, you might be able to counteract some of those negative effects.
That makes sense. So besides soy products, what other foods should we be including in our diet for healthy hair?
Well, in addition to a plant-based foundation, I always recommend loading up on raw vegetables, fresh herbs, pumpkin seeds,
Okay.
green tea, and colorful fruits. All of these are packed with antioxidants, which help protect your hair follicles from damage.
So it's basically about eating a wide variety of colorful, nutrient-rich foods.
Exactly. Think of it as giving your hair follicles all the tools they need to thrive.
That's great advice. So we've learned that diet plays a huge role in hair health
Definitely.
and that there are medications like minoxidil, but they come with potential side effects.
Right.
And that a more holistic approach, focusing on a healthy diet rich in phytoestrogens and antioxidants, can be a really effective way to support hair growth.
Absolutely.
So what else should we be thinking about when it comes to hair loss? What other factors might be contributing?
Well, understanding the hair growth cycle itself can be really helpful. Hair growth isn't a continuous process. It goes through distinct phases.
Phases.
Yeah. And each hair follicle on your head is actually cycling through these phases independently. It's a cycle.
Okay, so understanding those phases could help us kind of unravel the mystery of hair loss, huh?
Exactly. So there are three main phases. You've got anagen, catagen, and telogen.
Anagen, catagen, and telogen.
Yeah, catchy names, right?
They are catchy.
So the anagen phase, that's the active growing period. This is when your hair follicles are busy little bees churning out new hair cells.
Okay.
This phase can actually last for several years, which is why, some people can grow their hair really long.
Makes sense.
Then comes the catagen phase. This is more of a transitional period where things start to slow down.
So the hair growth slows down.
Exactly. The hair follicle actually starts to shrink a little bit too.
And then what's that last phase you said?
Telogen. This is when hair growth stops altogether,
Oh, so like the hair is basically just hanging out there.
pretty much. And eventually it gets shed.
So that's when we see hair falling out in the shower or on our brush.
Yep. It's a natural part of the cycle. We all lose a certain number of hairs every day.
So when does it become a problem then?
Well, it becomes an issue when that natural shedding process gets out of whack. Either it speeds up or something disrupts the cycle and you start losing way more hair than usual.
So we're talking noticeable thinning or even bald patches.
Exactly.
Okay, so what kinds of things can disrupt this delicate hair growth cycle?
Oh, all sorts of things. Hormonal imbalances are a big one, like what women experience during menopause or conditions like PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome.
Right.
Medications can also mess with your hair growth. Certain drugs, like chemotherapy drugs, can cause hair loss as a side effect.
That makes sense. So
Yeah.
it seems like addressing hair loss often involves figuring out what's causing the disruption in the first place.
Absolutely. You got to get to the root of the problem, no pun intended.
I see what you did there.
But it's not just about treating the underlying cause. You also want to support the hair growth cycle itself.
So are there things we can do to kind of boost that cycle and help our hair grow better?
There are actually quite a few treatments and therapies available these days.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, we already talked about minoxidil, but there's also finasteride. These medications work in different ways, but they can both help slow down hair loss and sometimes even promote regrowth.
Okay, what about things that aren't medications?
There's platelet-rich plasma therapy, or PRP.
PRP.
It's a newer treatment where they basically take some of your own blood, concentrate the platelets, and inject them back into your scalp.
That sounds kind of intense.
It's not as bad as it sounds. The platelets are thought to stimulate hair growth by delivering a concentrated dose of growth factors and improving blood flow to those follicles.
So it's kind of like a supercharged version of what minoxidil does?
In a way, yeah.
What about something less invasive?
If you're looking for something non-invasive, there's low-level laser therapy, or LLT.
LLT.
It uses laser light to stimulate the hair follicles, potentially boosting cellular metabolism and blood flow in the scalp.
Interesting. And do those treatments actually work?
Well, like with any treatment, the results can vary from person to person, but there's definitely evidence to suggest that they can be helpful.
I guess it's all about finding what works best for you, right?
Absolutely. And of course, don't forget about the basics. A healthy lifestyle can go a long way. Eat a balanced diet, get regular exercise, manage your stress.
All that good stuff.
Exactly. It all contributes to a healthy environment for hair growth.
This is all great information. So many options out there. It's encouraging.
It is, and it just goes to show that hair loss isn't something you have to just accept. There are things you can do about it.
It's important to remember that everyone's hair loss journey is unique, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What might work for one person might not work for another. And it's crucial to consult with a qualified healthcare professional.
100%. They can help you figure out the underlying cause of your hair loss and develop a personalized treatment plan that's right for you.
And I'm sure they can also help manage expectations, right? Because I imagine these treatments don't work overnight.
You're right. It's important to be patient and consistent with any hair loss treatment. They often take time to show results.
That makes sense. So we've talked a lot about treating hair loss, but what about preventing it? Are there things we can do to proactively keep our scalp healthy and maybe avoid hair loss in the first place?
Absolutely. Prevention is key, right? A
Yeah.
healthy scalp is the foundation for healthy hair,
Makes sense.
So keeping it clean is important. Washing your hair regularly with a gentle shampoo and conditioner. That's a good place to start.
Okay, so no harsh chemicals.
Right. And easy on the heat. Styling, too much heat can really damage those hair follicles.
Got it.
And of course, we've got to talk about diet again.
Of course.
Making sure you're getting enough vitamins, minerals, and protein is essential. Those are the building blocks for healthy hair growth.
So basically, all the same things that are good for our overall health are good for our hair health, too.
Exactly. It's all connected.
What about stress? I've heard that stress can contribute to hair loss.
Oh, yeah. Stress is a big one. It can mess with your hormone levels, which can definitely impact hair growth.
So how do we manage stress then?
Well, there are lots of different techniques you can try. Yoga, meditation, deep breathing exercises, anything that helps you relax and de-stress.
It's all about finding what works for you.
Exactly.
These are all great tips. I love how they're all things we can easily incorporate into our daily routines.
That's the point, right? Small changes can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a holistic approach is really the best way to care for our hair.
I think so. It's not just about what you put on your hair. It's about taking care of your whole body.
Mind, body, and hair.
Exactly.
Well, this has been so informative. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us.
My pleasure. It's always great to talk about hair health.
And for our listeners who want to learn more about hair care and the latest advancements in hair loss treatments, be sure to visit yourhealthfacts.com.